Hello, I'm recording this on the night of Tuesday, April 8th, hoping I can upload it like magic to the internet overnight to appear on Wednesday, April 9th. I don't know how that's going to work out. I live out in the country. We have really slow internet. Wi-Fi is slow. Even Verizon Wireless is slow. So I don't know. But normally, Wednesday would be Whip Wednesday. But we gotta interrupt our regular schedule for a special day. What special day is on April 9th, you ask? Well, thanks for asking. April 9th is National Unicorn Day. What? I didn't even know that until just a few days ago. National Unicorn Day. How fun a day to celebrate the magic of unicorns. So, of course, I got on Ravelry and I was like, unicorn, right? I had to do a little search, see what was up in Ravelry. You'd be surprised how many unicorn projects come up in Ravelry. Of course, there was tons of really cute crochet amigurumi unicorns. But I didn't know if I'd have enough time to do that. Plus, I'm fairly new to crochet. Yes, I've done some amigurumi, but let me be honest, it's not my strength. Will I practice? Sure. Do I want to get better? Absolutely. But I didn't think I was ready to post a unicorn yet. Will I share some of my amigurumi attempts? Yeah. I'll do a whole video on amigurumi soon, but not yet. So I was looking for a project I could do quickly, whip up, and boom. You know what I love? Dishcloths for those quick, projects that you need in a hurry. Hope you can see that. I don't know if you can see that, but it is yellow. I don't know if it works better to have something behind it or not. You know what I did? I got out my dishy cone. The giant yellow creme brulee dishy cone from Knit Picks and We Crochet. And guess what? Dishy is on sale now at knitpicks.com. 20% off. That's right. You can still get you one of these giant cones. Of course, I'm colorblind, if you don't know that yet. I've been my whole life. I have no idea what color to make a unicorn. Part of me was like, make it white, because unicorns are usually white. But I was also making a dishcloth. I mean, come on, a dishcloth that's gonna clean up coffee and soy sauce. White, it'd be stained forever. So I just went with yellow. I'm not saying the stains won't show up on the yellow. I'm sure they will, but maybe not quite as much. And I have the whole giant cone of yellow right here. So why not? You can make your unicorn any color that you want. Now, I want to be clear. I did not design this. As I said, it's a free Ravelry pattern and it's charted. And for those of us who are visually impaired who have a hard time with the graphics, she even wrote it out line by line. Not only that, but if you don't want to make a dishcloth, you can make it into a bib for a baby. That's right. Or maybe even me. I mean, I didn't make a bib, but some people might think I needed to. For me, okay? But she even gives you the instructions how to make the bottom curved and then how to do a bind off at the neck and then keep shaping the shoulders and do the ties. The designer's name is Elaine Fitzpatrick. I definitely want to give her credit. As somebody who started creating my own patterns, it can be a lot of work. Trial and error. I've started projects over 3 and 4 times just to get them right. So I know how hard it can be. So I don't want to take credit for anybody else's work. All I did was get out my giant dishy cone and a knitting needle. I used a size 6 and just cast on 37 stitches and started stitching. If you're blind or visually impaired, it has a nice seed stitch border around all 4 sides. And then it's just a stockinette background with a knit purl design of an adorable little unicorn. I mean, really, who doesn't want to clean with that? Cleaning's not my most favorite task. I mean, I do like it because I like to know. I like to have the reassurance that my kitchen's clean. That's really important to me. I might be a little bit of a paranoid germaphobe. Even my own mom laughs about that a little bit. How much I love bleach wipes and to wash my hands, okay? But I've had some bad experiences that might have been avoided had I been a little more paranoid about washing my hands. So I like to clean up my kitchen. So I love having these little dishcloths around. It's just knit and purl. If you can cast on, bind off, and do knit and purl, you can do these adorable little picture cloths. So thanks so much to Elaine Fitzpatrick for making it free. If I can figure it out and work it out, I will try to link it up in the description box. Not sure yet, but I'll give that a shot so you can easily find it. So you too can make yourself a unicorn to clean with. I mean, you know, cleaning, it can be a little humdrum, a little ordinary, right? But bam, bam, suddenly, swish, swash, swoosh, to make that mess go poof, 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 right? I mean, suddenly, it's like you're magic. You got this little cloth, you got a unicorn to help you out. That suddenly makes cleaning fun and magical. Now, some people believe that unicorns are truly magic, right? I don't know. How much credit do I give my unicorn? How magic is she? I don't know. I mean, but I created her. So who's more magical? I took a cone of cotton string. Think about that. That's all this is cotton string and a knitting needle, and made a unicorn dishcloth. I'm feeling a little more magical than the unicorn right now. I'm just saying, I personally think knitting and crochet is super magical. The very idea that you can just take string, cotton string, wool, acrylic, alpaca with a needle or a hook and make sweaters and blankets and dishcloths. It is so cool. So I don't care what the unicorn says. I'm feeling more powerful right now. But, I mean, if you don't know, some people do think unicorns have the potential to be really magical. Let me sit down, tell you a story about my life that involves unicorn. You know it, you know it. So, get a beverage, get some coffee, get some tea, grab a project, get your crochet hook, your knitting, your cross stitch, whatever it is you like to do while we're hanging out. Grab it and hang out with story time with me. You're going to love this one. Wild stuff from my life. So, I was a child of the 80s, so come on. Who would know? I love My Little Pony. Of course I love My Little Pony. I had like the regular My Little Ponies. I had the unicorn My Little Ponies. I had the Pegasus My Little Ponies. They came out with like seahorse My Little Ponies. I got one of those. Then they came out with Big Brother My Little Ponies, as in super-sized jumbos. And you know which one I got? Oh, I got the baseball Big Brother My Little Pony. I don't watch too many sports, but baseball is one of them. As somebody who's visually impaired, who can't see what the heck's going on the screen, baseball is one of those sports I can kind of follow. It's a slow game. There's plenty of time for the announcer to tell me what's happening. Plus, you can hear the crack of the bat. I mean, it's auditory, right? So that's a sport that I liked and have liked since I was a child. So, of course, when they came out with Big Brother My Little Ponies, I got the baseball one. But that's not what this video's about. It's about unicorns. So my mom, she raised us in an Assemblies of God church, and she still goes to an Assemblies of God church. Very Christian, very evangelical, and one night they had a special speaker at their church who gave them a whole list of items in their household that could be magical, that might have supernatural powers, maybe even black magic, things that might be bringing curses upon their household. Now, I did kind of think of my unicorns as magical, but I always thought of my unicorns as the good magic, right? The helpful magic. My unicorns weren't like bad magic. They weren't like doing witchcraft or putting curses or illnesses on people. No, my good unicorns were like the helpful unicorns, right? But this man told my mom and the whole church and their list of items that could be considered sources of black magic in their home. Unicorns. Yeah. So my mom came home and was like, unicorns got to go. Got to go. No more banished from the household. I was probably like 6 or something. I can't lie. I was sad. Like, that was my 6-year-old trauma. I mean, you know, I'm not saying it's the worst thing that happened to me by any means at 6. But it was sad. I loved my unicorns. It was sad. So, we had to think about this, have a little conversation, do some thinking. Big dilemma. What do you do, right? I mean, our unicorns were like, our My Little Ponies, they've been like Christmas presents, and we'd have chores around the house. We'd paid for some of our My Little Ponies ourselves with our dishwashing money. I mean, really? You gotta make your child throw that away? So, after much thought, it was decided if we just snippety snip chopped off that horn of that unicorn, we could take their magic powers away. This is a true story, y'all. I know some of you are like, no, this is crazy town. No, this is a true story. So the decision was made. We could either throw our unicorns away or we could snip off the horn and take their magic away. And we decided we have regular My Little Ponies, right? So they'd just be regular My Little Ponies. They wouldn't be unicorns anymore. They wouldn't have their magic. But my regular ponies didn't have special magic. So why not? So that's what we did. We maimed our unicorns. We cut off that source of magic. And that was okay. Then they just hung out with the ordinary ponies. It was all right. We were sad, though. Without a doubt, I was sad. I missed my unicorn with their special horn. I mean, unicorns, little girls love them. So we were now a unicorn-less family. And that was okay, except now my ponies had a giant hole in their forehead. Yeah, they did, like a big old hole in their head. We didn't plug that up with nothing. So there they were, giant holes in their heads. And you know, you have friends over and they're like, what happened to your unicorn? Why did she got a hole? You maimed her. Oh my God. Right? I mean, it was a big deal. Other kids were like, what happened to the unicorn? So, of course, we wanted to help our unicorns out, make them feel cool and special again. So we got out little scraps of fabric. I mean, my grandmother used to sew. She did teach my mom. My mom wasn't much of a seamstress. She didn't sew too much, but she knew how. She had the fabric. She was just busy working a lot. So we had fabric around the house. We had her fabric scraps. We had my grandma's fabric scraps. And what do you know? We cut out little triangles and circles and ovals. And then we put like little snip, snip with the scissors. Cut little holes in the top 2 of them for little ear holes. And we made hats. Hats for our unicorn My Little Ponies to cover up the holes in their head. Yeah. Suddenly, our My Little Ponies were cool. They were trend setters, right? They were no longer looked at as the maimed creatures. They were trendy, trend setters. They were starting a fashion. They had hats. The other ponies didn't have hats. You know what happened then, right? We had to start making hats for all the My Little Ponies. All of them. They had to have hats. And then, of course, they had to have coordinating outfits. I mean, you can't stop with just hat them. By the way, if you're blind or visually impaired, if you don't know that yet, I'm visually impaired. Sorry, I don't even know if I introduced myself. Why? Because I'm so excited about National Unicorn Day. Yes, I am. So, my name's May. I'm visually impaired. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I'm mostly blind. I'm completely colorblind. I knit and crochet by feel. And so, If you're blind or visually impaired and you're listening to this, I'm trying my best to describe things to you, right? So, I mean, My Little Ponies now, we're getting back to the story now. They had to have whole outfits, right? You couldn't stop at hats. And if you're visually impaired, that's where I was going with that. If you're visually impaired, I am wearing a crochet ruffle brim bucket hat. You can find like hundreds of tutorials on YouTube. Just look up crochet bucket hat ruffle brim on YouTube. Mine is purple. I love the ruffle. Of course, you don't have to add the ruffle, or you can make it even more ruffly. Whatever floats your boat. Ruffle, no ruffle, whatever. So, I mean, my ponies couldn't just stop with hats. Then it was like, they need little blankets to go with it, right? Like little blankies. So we'd cut out little squares, kind of like the size of the dishcloth. We'd cut out little squares of fabric, probably smaller than the dishcloth. And then we'd sew on little like trim, like rickrack and lace and ribbons so we could tie it around their necks. And then we'd embroider like little hearts and flowers and their names on it. It's true. I used to know how to do embroidery. I mentioned my grandmother on this channel before. She used to knit and crochet. And she also used to do embroidery and cross stitch. And even me, I have really thick glasses as a child. And my eyesight has deteriorated more, but I was always born legally blind. That's in a whole other video, lots of videos about that. My very first video called Introduction, if you want to learn more about that. But I've always been legally blind. She knew that, but she still made sure. She taught me how to use a needle threader, how to thread the needle. She taught me how to make knots and sew on buttons and do basic embroidery. In fact, if you see Mr. Bear on here, Mr. Bear's got embroidery eyes. I did those myself, okay? So they might look a little off. And I hadn't done embroidery for literally decades. But I remembered what my grandmother taught me when I was making Mr. Bear. All those decades later. So we would do all kinds of embroidery on their blankets. But we didn't stop at blankets and hats. No, no, no. Once they had coordinating blankets and hats, we were like, ooh, they need like skirts, right? And we cut out like little like triangles, like flat on the top, and then triangles, and then sew like fancy ribbons on that and make them little skirts and tie them around their waist. And then they needed little shirts and little ties, and they needed, so it was the 80s. They had leg warmers, everything, man. Our ponies literally had dozens of outfits in all kinds of colors. So, if you're wondering, yeah, I still got it, right? That's where it all started now as I knit and crochet and design my own sweaters and dresses and clothes. It started a long time ago. Our ponies then had to have fashion shows and competitions where they paraded around in their different outfits, seeing who was best to show. It was a whole thing for years of my childhood. I mean, I'm visually impaired. I don't have enough eyesight to go outside and play basketball or softball or soccer or do many of the other things that other children did. And I'm blind by light. If you don't know that yet, I am blinded by light. So playing outside in the sun wasn't something I did very often because I couldn't see. And I didn't get a white cane until I was 10, okay? So I spent a lot of my time inside, playing with my little ponies, making them wardrobes. That was my childhood. And I wrote them plays. I couldn't even spell yet. And I was writing little plays in my notebooks and then making them costumes to go along with their plays, right? That was my childhood. Now, I'm like making clothes for myself and Mr. Bear and making YouTube videos. Not really sure much has changed in my life, to be honest. 40 years later. I don't know. So, but why am I telling you that? Because in the moment, I was sad. I was really sad about having to maim my unicorns and take away their magical powers, right? Even though I'm convinced they did good in the world. But I was really sad about that. And we could have just said, throw them away. We're not going to have them. Or we could have chopped off their horns but not played with them anymore. We just could have considered them maimed and whatever. But we didn't. We didn't take what could have been sad, what could have been the end, and said, that's it. My sister and I, oh no, we're creative. If you can't tell you, I've talked about my sister a lot. She also knits and crochets and quilts and does cross stitch and embroidery and all that things. She's way more craftier than me. She sews. And so we didn't allow that to be a sad, traumatizing experience for long. Now, I'm not trying to make light of true childhood trauma. I'm not. I know people have serious trauma. I've experienced way worse things in my life, right? My grandmother, who I just talked about, passed away when I was 9. My friend from the School for the Blind died when she was 30. I was 32. Really hard. I had 3 German Shepherd guide dogs. I still miss them. I still grieve for them. That's a really hard pain and a hard loss. So by no means am I making light of real trauma and real pain. Not at all. Not at all. But what I'm saying is that when it could have been like a moment of real sadness, for us, it was sad for a brief period. But instead, we took it to a whole nother place that started by making little hats to cover the little holes in their head, right? I don't have any idea if we would have started making clothes for our My Little Ponies if we hadn't started making the hats to cover up the holes in their head. Would we have even started making them clothes? And then literally given me years and years of entertainment playing with my ponies, making them whole wardrobes, writing them plays, making them costumes, having fashion shows, years of entertainment during my childhood. And I do think that kind of thinking all throughout my life has really been able to help me. It's been able to take something that could have been sad, could have been negative, and turned it into something else. Created like a whole world for myself, my whole little fantasy world with my ponies, right? I mean, some people would have just said, well, that's the end of it. But I think that is something that I've taken with me my whole life to be like, well, I can't do that because of my visual impairment. And rather than say, I can't do that, right? I find another way to do it. I knit and crochet by feel. I don't say I can't knit and crochet because I can't see the yarn and my hook and my needle. I just say, of course I can knit and crochet. I'm going to do it by feel. I still cook. I've been to graduate school. I've worked as a therapist. I've done yoga and Pilates classes. I've done many, many things. I've traveled independently with just me and my guide dogs. For me, life is about, when I wanted to do something, it was about find a way to do it. It was about being creative. And that's what this channel's all about. For me, that little unicorn story in my life was say, hey, take something sad and turn it into, use my creativity and turn it into something positive, something fun. So I thought that was a fun little unicorn story to share, that even though my mom thought she was taking their magic away, we turned that into an opportunity to create our own little magical world, right? You can do that. You can be innovative. When something happens, be like, boom, I'm going to take it some whole other direction with it. Doesn't have to be the end. We made magic. They didn't have horns, but we made a magical world with our ponies. And you want to hear something about my sister that might have made my mom regret putting holes in the heads of our unicorns? And I can't lie, I forgot about this until last summer when I was talking about this with my sister and she remembered it. And it's totally her idea. Like when this happened, when our ponies lost their horns, okay, we were small enough still that we were taking baths together. I mean, our mom did bathe us together. We were 2 little girls. It was easier for her. Put us in the tub together. And it was fun to take a bath with your sister. Play, right? So we were of an age where we were still taking baths together. And My Little Ponies are plastic. And you can't have dirty ponies. So, of course, we sometimes took our ponies into the bathtub to play. I mean, what could be more fun, right? You gotta take a bath with your sister. You might as well bring the ponies along, right? Ponies gotta have baths too. So we sometimes took our ponies into the bathtub with us. And what happens when you stick a plastic pony under the water with a hole in its head? It fills up with water. Oh, my sister figured that out, that if she filled that pony up with water and she angled it just right and she squeezed it really hard and fast, the water, pew, would come shooting out of the hole, out of its head, and we began having like water fights with our maimed unicorns. That's right, we created a whole nother game of squirting the water at each other out of our unicorns with the holes in their head. And then, of course, we didn't just shoot it at each other. We were squirting it all over the bathroom. Yeah, my mom might have been regretting just a little bit taking our unicorn's magical horns away from them. I don't know, I just think really hard if I were you and you were thinking about chopping off the horns of your children's unicorns. I'm just saying, you might want to reconsider, because our unicorns were not engaging in that kind of bad behavior when they had horns on their heads. That didn't happen till they lost their magical powers, right? That's all my sister. I mean, I played along what she got me started. But all credit to her for that idea. That's so typical of my older sister. Okay, well, I think we've done enough of unicorn stories to celebrate National Unicorn Day. All right. Well, maybe next year we'll have a crocheted amigurumi unicorn. Who knows? So, leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know. Did you even know it was National Unicorn Day? Did you have any idea? You can Google that. For real. I was like, what? I did. I Googled it. April 9th, National Unicorn Day. A day to celebrate their magic. So, if you, I think I have that upside down. So, let me know. Did you even know it was National Unicorn Day? Do you think unicorns are magic? Do you allow them into your household? Or do you think they have too much magic? Do you think your unicorns only do good magic? Or do you unicorns do bad magic? I don't know. I'm not sure. You're gonna knit yourself up a unicorn dishcloth to go swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. You make that mess go poof, poof, poof. Right? Cleaning's gonna be way more fun in my household. I'm just saying. So, say hello. Do you knit? Do you crochet? Say where you're watching from. Are you visually impaired or not? I don't know. But you can say hello, of course, in the comment section. And thanks so much for stopping by, hanging out, spending a little bit of your day with me. And remember, whether you see or you see like me, which is not so much, or you don't see at all, creativity is for you, because it's for everybody. So, whether you're knitting or crocheting or sewing or quilting or beading or sculpting or painting or whatever it is you do to express yourself, today is a great day to craft and create. Thanks so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of your day with me. Bye-bye now. I know that the majority of people who are visually impaired have night blindness, and so they need more light to see. I'm the opposite. I'm blinded by light. That's why I record in a room that's dark, but I wanted to show you a close-up. I don't know if it helps to have it up against the notebook or not. I'm not sure, but I wanted to make sure you got an up-close sneak peek at the unicorn. Isn't she a beauty? Don't you want to make one? Don't you want one in your kitchen? I don't know. Does she show up better on just a white background? I'm not actually sure, but if you're blind or visually impaired, know that this design is tactile. It's created with stitches so that you can run your fingers along and you can feel every detail, like her neck is on the right side. She's faced towards the left. Her horn is pointed towards the left. She's got a little mane on her. You can feel her little muzzle. You can feel so much of the detail on this beautiful little unicorn that's going to be helping me out, making my cleaning just a little more fun. So, thanks so much for stopping by.